And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
This week we're going to focus on Dr. Dre's right-hand man. We got some educational opportunities that are great for you. Brand new ITLs. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
Yay! Hey guys, thanks for dropping by. And as always, we really appreciate all the extra support you guys give us. Keep that going. Herb, what's up?
Generous of your good, generous spirit of yours.
Man, we got the best audience.
There's a lot going on, and it starts with welcoming you and having you here. It also is thanking our incredible sponsors. They are 1500 or Nothing, the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, Groove 3, and Fab Factory. Lots of good stuff going on. We've got an ITL we'll tell you about in a second. Educational opportunities abound. In Nashville, the Blackbird Academy has got openings in their classes for April and July. That's April 9th and July 9th. They're also doing high school camps. And these are 5-day immersives where you can be on the campus, in the studios. 2 high school camps, July 16th through the 20th, August 6th through the 10th. The Blackbird Academy, really proud. They've been a partner for a long time. The number 2 school in audio based on last year's rankings. They just do it right. For info, go to blackbirdacademy.com or contact Karma at theblackbirdacademy.com. Another place where you can learn in LA, right off the 405 freeway, brand new, gorgeous. The super hot collective 1500 or Nothing has opened up the 1500 Sound Academy. They're starting out with a series of workshops. One already went by with Jay Deal, which is amazing. We stopped down and hung out at that one. Upcoming, there will be one on March 31st with the CEO and president of 1500 or Nothing, Rance Dobson and James Fauntleroy. James, huge songwriter. And both of them big producers. They're going to do a Q&A, evaluate your music, answer questions, give you all the perspectives from when you're at the top of the game about what tools and tricks they use to sustain. You should do that. And then on April 6th, the Where My Money At workshop, which is on all things publishing. Creators, you got to know about publishing, you got to know where your money's at. This panel is moderated by Tuff Morgan of Pure Music. He has written it and executive over it. He's administered it. He is a longtime veteran. So all you creators need to know about publishing, you should go and attend this workshop. For more info on both those workshops, go to 1500 Sound Academy. You can sign right up, find out all the information, and enjoy it. DP, it's ITL time. What do you have?
Well, I was cruising around some of the comments, got some ideas, and here's one of them. Cool. Check it out. From time to time, I like to share something with you that I just ran across. And Drumatom is one of those things by Akisonis. I've actually been using it for a while. I recently have started using it a lot more. It's got a lot of uses. I'm going to share a couple with you. A lot of times we'll get a situation where we'll have hi-hat bleed in our snare. So you go to add some top end on the snare, and now you add top end to the hi-hat because that snare mic picked up so much hi-hat. And on and on and on and on and on. And the beauty about this particular plugin and standalone application is that it's not a gate, but what it does do is it analyzes the information that you give it, and it selects the individual sounds and subtracts through a very intelligent algorithm the bleed from other microphones, and it uses that bleed to determine what to take out of the original sound. I know I'm getting a little convoluted with you. Probably the best way to go about this is to just show you. So having said that, check this out. I'm going to show you a kick drum before. Okay, what you can hear is you hear bleed. Now what we're calling bleed is any information that's in this particular track, which is a function of one microphone, that's not the kick drum. So let me play a little piece and you'll hear the snare in the background, you'll hear other parts. Now check it out, this is what Drumatom did. Now I can adjust this on the fly. Watch this. Now the big knob is the amount of processing that's being applied to the kick drum. And this little guy is called fine tune. What it's doing, think of it as a mix knob, I guess, is the best way to think about it. It's actually adding more of the original sound in, and I think that's an asset. Watch. So it has a value. And by the way, just as an aside, the processing is phase accurate, so you can actually put it inside your Pro Tools system or your DAW of choice and actually blend in with the original drums too. Pretty deep stuff. Now let's check out the snare. Here's the before. We got a little hi-hat, we got a little cymbal, the hi-hat, we got a couple of cymbal, sounds like a cymbal ride somewhere in there too. And if you listen real closely, you can hear somebody stepping on ducks in the background. Not really. So check this out. So it's pretty apparent on the snare, but let me show you something else. Here's our original sound on the snare again. We printed this. And it's a print of this guy here. Now here's, they both have the same compression on them. So I compress the snare a little bit and check out what it does. Comprende? It's pretty good, right? So as you add compression to a sound, what does compression do? It brings up the information that's the low information and makes it the same volume as the loud information. So if you don't have anything to bring up because Drumatom has taken that out of the signal, then it's a much cleaner signal. Now, why is that important? If you add certain effects to sounds, like if you add reverb, if you add other types of time-based effects, that bleed is going to alter the sound that you're getting. And a lot of times, as engineers, we're not sure why we don't like something, but it can be because of the bleed, and the reverb is affecting that bleed, and then the compressors are affecting it, the EQ's affecting it. So very valuable plug-in, and I think it's worth taking a look at. Okay, good stuff. Bye-bye.
We call one of our favorite guys. He works with Dr. Dre. That's a hallowed position to get into. He has for a while. Please enjoy our conversation with the one, the only, Focus.
Focus.
Last time we saw each other was in a restaurant.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
what you been up to, man?
Man, just moving back
Yeah.
out west. So moving from Georgia just recently and back at Aftermath, just working.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You've seen the evolution of Aftermath, haven't you? And been a big part of it. As
Big
it stands today, where is it? What are you doing?
Like I said, it's been a huge blessing in my career, and just working with Dre, we're right now just being really creative.
Yeah.
You know, so the biggest thing that we're doing right now is just creating music and
making stuff.
Yeah, just making stuff and trying different things. And Dre is just very, very creative. He's very open to trying new things and just trying to find out what the next thing is. So
Do you get to have input and put your ideas in?
yeah, and it's everybody
Because
that's
he's very
working.
specific, isn't he?
He's very particular.
Right.
He is very particular. But being specific about something that you don't know, like we're touching, you know, textures and things that we don't know yet.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing to be specific about, you know. So,
That makes
but
sense.
we're definitely trying new things and just seeing what it is.
The seduction in the tech space is real and massive. It's very fascinating for me, and some of my friends are having trouble balancing one foot in the tech space, one foot in the creative music space. Dr. Dre is a brilliant man. He's in the tech space. Is he coming back to give us a record anytime soon?
the only person that would know that answer would be Dre. Right now, like I said, we're being very creative. He's very much so in love. His whole entire career, he's been in love with music, you know, so that's his first love. And just getting back into being creative is I can only speak for myself, it's just exciting to see him back in the studio. He's not taking his foot out of tech. He understands that the first thing to hit the sand is the foam on the wave, so he wants to be ahead of the curve, you know, and be that foam on the wave. So he keeps his ear to the streets, and he knows what's going on.
And I hope he stays there, because I think that there are practitioners of our craft and there's innovators.
Yeah.
And the innovators, to me, shouldn't be harnessed by convention.
Yeah.
They should stay out in the wilderness and
Grow
break the
beards
ground
and
for
everything.
us. Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're the Lewis and Clarks. They take us west toward the ocean, and he's such an amazing talent. I mean, you know, and sometimes to me, particularly as the last sort of focus on whatever his last record was going to be, limited him to me to that kind of convention where he's kind of above that convention. So I'm always interested to see his contributions wherever they come. Designing headphones, making music, doing a commercial, movie, whatever it may be. It always has something, because I think he's so demanding of himself that when he finally has something that's going to come out, I'm going to appreciate the effort and the work in it. Does that get close to his ethos in terms of the way
100%.
Is that right?
I've always told him this. My biggest obstacle in my career is myself, and I learned that from him. You know, he's a perfectionist, and he demands way more than I think even he can give himself. But he would never turn around and admit that, because he knows that at the end of the day, it has to be done. He knows that it needs to be done, so he's going to continue doing it.
Technology sometimes has some victims, and in my world, in the engineering world, there's been a couple of casualties come along. It forces you to take a step back and take a look at your life and take a look at your creativity and musical life. And I hope I don't embarrass you, but you did that in a major way, and I think we all kind of need to do that from time to time. Explain why you did what you did. You took a little hiatus from producing and writing, and then you came back stronger. Like I said, I think we all need to do that in one form or another. Can you share that experience with us? I think it would help us.
Sure. I think that when you get into the industry side of the music, we start to lose ourselves. We start to try to put ourselves in this mold. Whatever that mold is, I'm too old, so now I want to look young. I'm too old, I got to sound young. I got, there's a mold. There's always something there. It's a box that they try to put you in. And then you start finding yourself trying to fit yourself in that box. And I had to get out the box. I had to get out the box. I started hating music. And that was a problem for me, because it's all I've ever known. So when you start to hate the thing that actually makes you who you are, that's all I've ever known. I had to take a break. I had to go and just realign spiritually, realign with my family, and it was a humbling experience. It wasn't a humiliating experience. It was very humbling. And when you come back into a situation with a different mindset, you can expect different results. When you go into and Dre tells me this all the time, you can't do the same old thing and expect new results. So you can't go in with the same old mentality and expect something new to happen. I had to change me. And I'm not a person that walks into a situation and goes, it's you, and it's you, and it's you. Like, the first person I need to deal with is here, because this is the only person I can change. And so that's what I did. And
where that relates, I think, to our audience is sometimes you run into challenges, or both you guys tell me if it's true. Sometimes you run into challenges that you think are creative challenges, but they're not. Sometimes they're human challenges, or sometimes they're institutional, or there are other things in your creativity, and you keep pounding away at your creativity. Somebody told me the other day that you can't alter your brain chemistry by thinking about it. Like you can't think your way out of a brain chemistry adjustment. You have to. So sometimes you have to step back from your problems, sort of assess them, and decide, wait, there's a number of different ways for me to approach it. And then that breakthrough might be a human breakthrough that then speaks to your creativity. Is that fair to say?
I think so.
Yeah, you agree?
Like your dad is Bernard Edwards, one of my favorite musicians and producers ever. Chic was one of my favorite bands ever.
Appreciate that.
Did you rely on your father at all to kind of give you guidance? Because, what a resource, you know?
Just like any child, my dad was my hero. Any child. I wanted to make him proud.
Sure.
My biggest thing was just at the end of the day, I wanted to hear, that was good and I'm proud of you.
Right.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Wow.
And I think my career would have been made. But my dad knew the ins and outs of the industry and he didn't want me to go through it.
Right.
So we had such a tumultuous relationship, headbutting all the time because I was running after it and he was
he
pulling
didn't
me
want you
back.
in it.
You know, so
Yeah.
a lot of the reason why I changed my name to Focus instead of calling, because I'm his namesake,
Right.
was to show him I can do it. You know, and just kind of kept trying to prove it to him. But
That's a powerful force, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and look, I don't want to
Yeah,
go
you
down.
too, Herb.
Well, this is what I would say about this. If you have a high-profile dad,
Yeah.
and we both did,
Yeah.
and I know other friends of mine who have high-profile dads,
Yeah.
there is an enormous amount of self-induced pressure
Yes, sir.
to make yourself, if not equal,
Yeah.
at least successful,
Yes.
and oftentimes in your own way.
Yes.
So my dad was a pro athlete. I was a good athlete. Didn't want me to play pro ball.
Right.
Didn't want me to deal with that at all. Thought I had other assets, and it's just a different challenge that you kind of can't share with other people because they kind of go, wait, you were born into, and they don't know
That's the
that
first thing they think. Yeah.
Yeah, they think it's easy, and you are driving yourself
Yeah.
crazy to achieve, and then you put that in the creative space that we're in because you and I both chose this crazy space, and
Right.
the path isn't clear, so it can put you in a position where you need to take a break.
Yeah.
I've had to do the same thing, so I've been there.
I think, for me, I think one should do that every 2 or 3 years, just like a checkup on a car or a tune-up on a car.
It's mental
Find
health.
a technique for that because music changes about every 3 or 4 years, and you don't want to be doing the old thing.
As you find your skill set, does it lend itself also to creating music, songwriting, producing? Is it mostly mixing? What's the focus bundle?
The bundle would be production mainly, and then Dre has been letting me get my hands dirty on the mixes as of late.
Oh,
you know?
nice.
So yeah, that's been really cool.
That's
and,
a big trust thing. From,
It is
from
a
what
big
little I
from
know.
him. Yeah, exactly. So him being my mentor, I told him I want to learn more. I'm but I don't know if I truly want to be a mix engineer outside of the family.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm just so creative. I'm so heart driven, and just making music is kind of like my calling, and I know that. You know, so.
And ultimately, the things that you produce and make are mostly inside the Aftermath family? Do you go outside of it?
I go outside.
Okay.
I go outside. I'm able to go outside, but I just want to be excited about what I work on.
Got it.
Thank God my career has gone the way it has to where I don't have to run after every placement. You know, I would like to be proud of what I do.
Right.
And proud of who I do it with, and actually have a chemistry and some kind of synergy so we make something timeless. And, instead of just chasing after the dollar,
What's your musical taste? Is it broad? Is it...
Oh, way broad.
Yeah.
Way broad, yeah. I go from classical, even spa music. I like listening to that just because of the atmospheric textures of it. I love rock.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
R&B, true R&B. I love some of the new stuff. I love the textures of the new stuff. So I'm not closed-minded. I think the only thing that is an acquired taste is something like death metal.
Gotcha.
But
And it
I'm
should
willing
be.
to listen to it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
One of the things that's unique about your creative approach to writing is you rarely start with the drums, and a chord for you might inspire an entire song. Can you expand on that? Because I think that's what makes you unique.
I appreciate it. For some reason, you're not supposed to build a house from the top to the bottom. That much you do know. You're supposed to build by foundation, but my dad was a bassist, and in his group, the foundation was the bass and the drums, and so it's all I've ever known. But I'm like, at the same time, there's a different way that I can attack it. There's something else, and I'm a fiend for chords. Anything pretty, anything that's just a left field chord, left field chord progressions. I go for those, and it's easier for me to interpret the song from the top to the bottom, you know, and let the chords kind of drive the thing, so I don't have to do the same, you know, 2 and the 4 and 1 and the 3. You know, you try to find new things, and now all these new synths and things like that, and filters. You can find so many new textures just listening into the cadence of what they're doing. You know, so
right. How important are vocals to you, and how good are you as a vocal producer?
I'm the best.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
Vocal is my favorite instrument.
Okay.
And in any studio, but in any given moment. I think that the voice is truly probably the best instrument God has given us, you know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is when I turn around and I do anything, my job is to make sure that the vocalist gets the proper shine. I'm just the stage. But I have to get the spotlight, and I have to get everything on the vocalist, you know? I think me and Dave were talking about this recently. I went to go visit him at his studio, and he was talking about the same thing. And it's about space, and Dre taught me about space, creating space. Even when you have a lot of instrumentation, you have to create space, you know? So when it comes down to
flat out genius at that.
Yeah, and I've never had the pleasure of seeing it with anybody else. But I've had the honor of seeing it, everything with him, you know, and just seeing how he places things is meticulous.
I have a couple of white papers in my career that I've used my whole career. The Whispers as a business case, from way when you weren't supposed to be that organized as a business to today. Dr. Dre's California Love as a song that has so many textures in it.
Yes, sir.
About 400 melodies in it that are so deep down in it. And he found space for the vocal in all that. Just like, I mean, I have a couple others too, but it's just stunning to me. And the more you turn that song up in your car, the more you'll hear other things that are down in it, and you just go, who thinks like that? Is that representative of the guy you work with?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's
and
just
I
amazing.
love, like, even listening to mixes that I grew up on from him, and listening to them in headphones after asking him questions about them.
Ooh,
you
I'm
know?
mad
So
at you.
yes, when
You
he
get
turns
to
around,
do that.
once you turn around and you ask him, like, okay,
Look,
what were you thinking?
That's my California Love. There's Compton right behind you.
You're betraying your 5% blackness.
Hey, man, explain to me something. You take a melody sometimes, and in order to understand that melody, you might use sound shifter and move it up in pitch, move it down in pitch.
Yes, sir.
Is that what I read?
Yes, sir.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
And what are you trying to do with that? See how the melody works at a different key? Or
No, it's just a feeling. Like they're you know, you can do, there's only 12 notes. So when you start putting them in chord progressions, there's really not much, you're not reinventing the wheel. But they're, to me, certain chord progressions translate better and feel better at the right key. And
I agree.
Sometimes if you play it at the same key that you might play 5 other records, just playing with and finding out where it's going to impact you. And that's what I do with sound shifter.
Are you changing the chords too? Or
Yeah, everything.
So you change the whole mix?
Do the entire mix.
Oh, okay.
And
I
I
thought you were
normally,
just-
like, I'll throw it on my master just to see how everything feels as it's moving up, moving down, whatever. Because even the pitch of the drums, you might have a duller snare, but when you pitch it up +4, for some reason it pops, cracks a little bit more, and it might sound better there. You know what I'm saying? So now, okay, I might like the drums +4 and just keep the music where it was. You know, so
Gotcha.
those are things that I listen to as I'm creating.
Wow, you do that quite often?
I do it every time.
No
There's never,
joke.
I've never. Anytime I create, that's the first thing I do. I start, you know, moving, playing with the sound shifter.
What made Dr. Dre select you? Or
I'm still asking him that to this day.
still don't know?
But yeah, you know what? I think that it was the right place at the right time. It really was. Dre was in a place where he wanted to do something new. He wanted to try something different. And I wasn't even from the West Coast. So I don't know how I got here.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it was just a turn of events, and honestly, like I always say it's a blessing, but I don't know how I got here, but I'm blessed to be here, and I'm just trying my best to bring him whatever he sees in me, 150% every time.
And you got to go do what you need to do and come back.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about the
Well,
person.
he understands that no matter what, and this is what I definitely love about working for Dre, but working for Aftermath as well, we're humans first. We're not just machines. He knows that, when it comes down to doing a job, do your job.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you're really trying to find yourself, you're not giving me 120%. You're not giving me 150% when you don't know who you are at 100%.
Right.
So Dre he's definitely been a great mentor, and he's been an understanding person, so it's not like I'm just dealing with Dr. Dre. I'm dealing with Andre Young. I'm dealing with a man that, is married. He has children. He has, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like when I speak to him, it's like always on music.
Right.
It's like, man, I need a break. He's like,
Take
I
it.
know. He's like, take it. So.
Yeah, he would know.
Yeah.
How is your batter's box arm?
Ooh.
Is it a good one?
Well, I mean, he's got that Dr. Dre lineage. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Speed and power.
Huh?
Speed and power.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah, I'm
Are
ready.
you ready?
I guess I'll try.
White guys can pitch.
I know.
So
Come on, let's bring it in.
Pitch ahead, white guy.
Harmonies. I'll come back to that.
Yeah, we're going to have to. Wow, that was a good one.
Key.
Sound shifter.
Collaborations.
I don't even know how to answer that. I like the young and the old thing that's happening right now at Aftermath, so
Okay.
I'm pretty open. Yeah.
Tempo.
My favorite, the sweet spot, about 85 to 90.
Ooh, that's a headline. Chords.
I don't even know how to answer that. You are getting me right now.
Genres.
Oh, of course, R&B. That's where I'm from.
Synthesizers.
As analog as they come.
DAWs.
Logic, X,
Bass lines.
true bass, real bass, Fenders. Yeah,
Inspiration.
my family.
If your studio caught fire, no hard drives, no livestock, no
You're
people.
gonna bring a tear to my eye.
What one thing would you rescue?
I don't want to sound materialistic, but it would have to be my Grammy.
I get it.
It's one of those things that I get to look at it and
Yeah.
it's kind of
a,
important.
It's a
for me.
milestone.
Yeah, it was a
absolutely.
Great
milestone.
answer.
Yeah.
You know what the second thing he would take?
What?
Dr. Dre.
The Dre shouldn't be in the studio that's burning. Yeah.
Hopefully he's playing the piano at the time.
It is.
It's great
Those
to
were
read.
great questions.
Huh?
Those were great.
You want to go back to harmony and chords?
The funny thing about it is with harmony and chords, it's going to be the same thing. I like
That's
to,
true, isn't it?
It's the
It
same
is
thing.
true. That's true.
I just want it to resonate, so I'm going to push whoever the subject matter is. Just get.
I
the
got
best.
one question for you while we're at the end of the show. How do you use Vocal Writer? I've heard you use that too by Waves.
Yeah,
Are
I
you-
like Vocal Writer. A lot of people are performance driven, even in the studio. So that back and forth thing on the mic can drive you crazy. And we're not so much into the SSL that we're still using automation. So I like to make mine tight. I like to give it a really tight gate on Vocal Writer just to regulate volume, and it really does. Like you're able to get the most out of the vocal. Yeah. And you have pliability.
One last
so-
question, sorry.
Sure.
Your father was one of the founders of the bass line as hooks, and his bass lines were, without the song, without the bass lines, the song would disappear. And I noticed you got that same thing about bass lines. You've thought about it consciously as being derivative from your father and your experiences, right?
I don't think it's a conscious thing. It's just
just in you.
it's
It's who you
just
are.
innate.
I love
Yeah.
bass lines as hooks. Those 80s and 90s bass lines where you
Yeah.
could, like Herb's real close to a band called Earth, Wind and Fire, and their bass lines were deemed
Exactly.
like they were songs in themselves.
Exactly.
I miss that. Let's
And
bring that
so
back.
do I. And I think that'll happen. That'll happen because you can only go but so simple and so electronic.
Yeah.
They're gonna need the pliability of the analog stuff. They're gonna need the pliability of real live playing. they're going to need it because it's going to start to strike a new kind of creativity. So, you know, if you listen to some of the new R&B, they're using a lot of acoustic guitar with the 808 stuff.
Yeah.
And they need that organ.
Sprinkling one or two real,
Yeah.
real players is cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's why people still like to gather to do things.
Yes.
It could be an EDM thing, it could be Black Panther, but there's something about when it's a shared collective experience
It's a synergy.
that you can't get when you're alone, and,
Yes, sir.
and that's important. Your pedigree, beyond your pedigree, certainly influenced everybody around this desk right here, for sure. The notion that you get to sit in such a hallowed seat and learn and contribute says a lot beyond your gift about who you are.
Thank you.
And you know, listen, we've just been cool friends for a long time.
Yes,
We're going to
sir.
continue.
Yes, sir.
Man, listen, you got to come do more stuff with us.
Most
If we call
definitely.
you, can we do that?
Of course, of
Great.
course.
And we'll go to Lure or something since it's out your way.
Since we've done sandwich, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Dave, take us home.
Music is healing, and music, as we know, there's a saying, can soothe the savage beast. And I want you to go check out his solo albums. Focus's solo albums represent moments in his life where he had to create them. And when I hear them, I go through all sorts of emotional things, probably not the ones he used to create them, but there's some real gems and jewels there that you might miss. So go to Wikipedia, check him out, and check his solo albums and see what a real heart sounds like. We'll see you next week.